Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Blockbuster Brothers. We're the brothers, and we're going to talk about a blockbuster rumor today about two directors potentially making a movie together and maybe their last movie. We're talking about the rumor of Quentin Tarantino and Christopher Nolan co-directing a feature film together. Steven, did you hear about this at all?
Yes, we did. I did. And after doing a little research, this is fake news, but kind of an interesting topic to talk about because Tarantino has long said that it is going to be his last film, this next one coming up. And just the thought of Christopher Nolan and Quentin Tarantino doing anything together, I think is worth discussing or at least fantasizing about because that would just be really cool. And it made me think first, okay, these are two auteurs, two of the greatest directors of the last 30 years, easily. Um, I could see that almost being an impossibility, that two people of such stature and that are such artists on their own working together. But the thought is certainly tantalizing. And then it made me think, if Tarantino is going to do one more movie, what should it be? And what should it, where should it take place? What time frame? I don't know. Did you give any thoughts to that?
Well, before I go into kind of what Tarantino's last would be, I kind of wanted to talk first about like the prospect of Tarantino and Nolan potentially working together and why I think that I very much agree that that might be too strong of cooks and too opinionated of cooks in the same kitchen to make one cohesive piece of of art. But I think that it is interesting because I think since Christopher Nolan has left working with his brother Jonathan Nolan, it'd be interesting to have Quentin Tarantino's storytelling of nonlinear style that he's done in the past actually matches up well with Christopher Nolan's nonlinear style storytelling as well. So I was almost like, dang, maybe this could be some nonlinear where it's kind of like Christopher Nolan leaving Jonathan Nolan has really stuck to historical projects. He broke with Tenet, which I feel like, yes, people love, but I think that was his least cohesive plot and storyline, especially if you compare it to a story like The Prestige or Inception, that are very cohesive stories, even though they're complex. I think Jonathan really is a great storyteller and really helped Christopher tell original content and get away from, well, not away from, because now he's progressed into doing stories like Dunkirk and Oppenheimer, where he has a lot of historical information to base off of, where he doesn't have to like come up with like unique, creative, original ideas, which is Quentin's specialty. So I thought like maybe that could be a nice like meeting way of Christopher getting back into original scripts and away from like historical pieces. But you know what? And I think that that would probably just end up being, too complex. But who knows? They're both love film. They're both so passionate about the medium. I think it almost could work. I think it was supposed to be, the rumor was a crime thriller. I think it could be fun. I think that their styles might conflict a little bit. But, definitely something to worth talking about. I wish that, Quentin might think about, after finishing what I think should be his last movie, should maybe considering doing something like this. Hey, I'm not going to direct a full movie by myself, but I'll co-direct it with Christopher. But I think that Quentin Tarantino should finish his career like one of his favorite, if not the most favorite director of his, Sergio Leone, with a trilogy of his own. He is idolized, and he always talks about the greatest trilogy, and greatest thing is the good, the bad, the ugly. The Oh my gosh, how am I blanking on his name? Who's the cowboy? Clint Eastwood.
Oh,
The
Clint
Clint
Eastwood, yeah, yeah.
Eastwood trilogy. And Sergio Quinn doesn't have a trilogy of his own, And if he completes the Kill Bills, does Kill Bill 3, and follows the story of like Vivian Fox's the Verona Green, who Beatrice kills, and the daughter watches this, and she's like, "If you want to take this up with me later on, like I get that." So we go with her, and maybe Orana Wren, Lucy Liu trains the daughter of Vivian Fox to go after Uma Thurman's character, and Quentin have his own trilogy, so he can say he's got a trilogy, ended on a clean trilogy. He's kind of like in his he's always kind of modeling off of Hollywood's history and the past like auteurs that he's loved, and he's always has very much clear inspiration. So I think that clear trilogy would be a great way for him to bookmark the end of his career.
Yeah, I like that. I think that would sound very good to people funding the movie. And I think fans of Quentin Tarantino would want to see that. The just playing around with the idea of it, I really was drawn to what the heck would a futuristic Tarantino movie look like?
Wow.
And that would be something that maybe he's not interested in doing, but would certainly entice people because it's so different from what he's doing. And then in combination with that, or in addition to, I really thought the idea of maybe like a 16th, 17th century crime family or criminal of some kind, or some underworld way back. So I could see it going both ways. I mean, I certainly hope we have 5 more Tarantino films, but this 10th movie, he's been adamant about that for a while. So maybe he's got other plans, but certainly a fun topic to discuss, even if it is not based in truth. Who cares? We love Tarantino here, and a lot of other people do too. So we're certainly going to be watching his next film, regardless what it is. But that is us discussing the Tarantino rumors that are more than likely not true, but they're certainly fun to discuss. So thanks everybody for watching. If you have any ideas about what you think Tarantino's last film should be, let us know in the comments. And as always, we appreciate you watching.